My friend Terry from Les Butcherettes asked me recently if who I thought was a better singer, Kurt Cobain or Janis Joplin. It was a pointed question, and it was a difficult one to answer. And Kurt Cobain is absolutely one of my very favorite singers ever. I could listen to his voice forever. It's just endlessly fun to listen to. Like, it's like a synthesizer or something. Just you never know what sounds are going to come out of it.
Nirvana, what did I mean to you?
The period of time when I saw them in 1988 or 89, right before their album Bleach came out, at a little club in LA called Raji's, and I think that was the first time they played in LA. And there's actually a photograph of me in the Incesticide music book where you can see me sitting in the front wearing a T-Rex shirt, watching Kurt's like throwing his guitar over his head or something. And I at that time I thought they were really great. I thought it sounded like, with a name like Nirvana, it seemed like they should be they should be playing the Forum instead of Raji's, and I thought his voice was incredible, and it seemed to me, at that time we were at that level of playing like, we were popular in LA, but playing like 1,000 people or 1,500 people or something. But us and Jane's Addiction were sort of seen as being like the two popular bands of LA at that time, and I thought it seemed like Nirvana could be as popular as either of us were at that time, and that was what I said to Anthony as we were leaving. Anthony was who I was there with. But then I didn't hear about them. I didn't pay attention to what they did, and I wasn't so big on Nevermind when it came out. A lot of people hate me for saying this, but being into punk since I was 9 years old, I wasn't big on the idea of punk for the masses, which is what that album was, and punk for college kids, there's a couple of songs I like on Nevermind now, but for me, the album that really got me to love Nirvana was In Utero. To me, when I heard that album, it just blew me away. I was so happy to hear somebody screaming like that. Obviously, even on Nevermind, I loved his voice. His voice is obviously an incredible screaming voice, but on In Utero, I just loved the intensity of it and the realness of it, and and the just it didn't sound like a producer's idea. It sounded like them playing the music that they were playing, and that's why for me that's by far their best album. I mean, I'm a big fan of the B-sides that came from that album too that aren't on it, like the song "Moist Vagina" and what other, and "Sappy." So I'm, you know, for Nirvana I have like all the bootlegs and everything. I'm a huge fan. Like I have everything that there is that you could get as far as bootlegs go and stuff. I have a pretty thorough collection. So, and you know, he'll always be inspiring to me as a songwriter, as a singer, as a guitarist. I love his guitar playing very much. It's like a big explosion, you know. Yeah. I have to thank these wonderful people that work for me and put up with me when I'm being an asshole. You know? Let's give them a round of applause. To help me bring the life back together. I love them.
All right.
Truth, covered in security. I can make small of me. Like you got it good at work. Trading off taking turns. Don't regret a thing I got. This can you see? It makes me feel that I wanted more than I could feel. I rest myself, wear a shirt. I go out my way, cool and still. Smell her on you. Don't tell me what I wanna hear. We don't ever know in fear. Give you anything you need. I keep fighting jealousy until it's fucking gone. I got this when you see it makes me feel, and I wanted more than I could feel. I rest myself and wear a shirt and go out of their way to cool and still. Smell her on you. The sound of his screaming, like, especially on something like let's see, like Scentless Apprentice or something like that. It's just I mean, it's just I can't think of anybody who's ever done it so who's just had such a complete celebration of insanity type scream. You know, it's just a wonderful sound. When I listen to it, I think about what it must have felt like to feel that sound coming through you. It's just incredibly powerful.
You could talk about gold record bands all day long, but I only do multi-platinum, boys. Multi-platinum? I'll tell you about multi-platinum. After Dr. Dre, I couldn't walk for a week. Oh, really? Well, I had Snoop Dogg in my house all night long. So, but sometimes I like a cuddly boy. Ooh, cuddly? You mean like Jimmy Page? No, I mean like PM Dawn. Oh, PM Dawn. Well, there is one big cuddly boy that I just love to death. I don't want to say any names, but let's just say that I wouldn't let his meat low. Oh, I know who you're talking about. But let's just say you could do any band in the whole world. Who would it be? Well, the drummer has big brown eyes and long brown hair, that raw animal rhythm instinct. And the bass player's a big, tall boy, big, strong, tall boy. And the singer, he's a sensitive, artistic, scruffy, creative type. And what about the new guitar player? Oh, you mean that boy from the Germs? I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Nirvana. That's right.
It was like a perfect storm. Everything was happening at the same time, and then rock music was changing as well. There was, I think people were getting tired of that whole Sunset Strip kind of hair metal thing that was sort of popular at that time, and they were we were doing what we were doing anyway, as we have been for a long time. But then bands like Nirvana came along, and they were at Seattle scene, and we went on tour with Pearl Jam and Smashing Pumpkins, and I remember that being a really exciting tour and feeling that, like, wow, this is really something really exciting is happening in music, and we were happy to be part of it. That Nirvana record came out the same day as ours. I didn't know that, but two pretty good records, but they just were so amazing, and it's an incredible band, and again, having Dave Grohl in the band, I think that was the first record they did with him. And those songs, obviously that's an incredible record. And we did get to tour together at the very end of '91. Right after Christmas, we did a West Coast tour together. It was Pearl Jam was the opening band, Nirvana, and then the Chili Peppers, and we played up and down the West Coast. And I just remember being in the Cow Palace in San Francisco on New Year's Eve and watching Nirvana launch into Teen Spirit, and the crowd and the place was amazing, like nothing I've ever felt before. It was so exciting and so just I can't explain the feeling. It was incredible, and just like this is something, we are seeing something really amazing, and they were great, and you know, it was a great time for music.
One baby to another says I'm lucky to meet you. I don't care what you think, unless it is about me. It is now my duty to completely drain you. I travel through to and end up in your affection.
I want to go back to December 1991 and paint for my audience the fact that when Blood, Sugar, Sex, and Magic came out, it was an amazing time in music when you think about it. And to put it into some kind of perspective, you guys were on the road with Pearl Jam as the opening act. Nirvana was in the middle, and you guys were the closers. That is an amazing moment in music. I can't imagine what that tour must have been like. You guys had an album that was really breaking big. Pearl Jam was coming out with 10, and Nirvana, we know what happened with them. What was that tour like back then?
I remember just feeling like, they're good bands, but Nirvana, that they were really carrying a heavy magic with them. Like just this feeling like they are a powerful entity to be respected. When we were playing together in 88, 89, like when we were still playing in clubs, it really felt like a life or death thing that we had to succeed at what we were doing, like not just commercially, but like our shows had to have an energy. Our shows had to move people. People had to be dancing, like our styles were in large part developed because we put ourselves under that pressure of wanting to be good.
Oh, that's good. That's incredible.
You know who was good? Nirvana.
They sure were.
When we played with them,
Yeah.
they were just good.
No, those.
I mean, that was a life changing.
What do you mean, Anthony?
Yeah.
What do you mean they were just good? Like they what was it?
You know, I feel like some of this is a natural thing. Like John has a very clear understanding of dynamics, and then for me, that feeling that John is so beautifully describing, it was just natural. The first time that we ever played, it was just natural to have an energy, to have a passion, and have a live or die aesthetic to everything that we did. But I feel like Nirvana had that naturally as well. Like they were certainly good at their instruments and songwriting and chemistry and all that, but then they also just had a combustibility that came with birth, or came from God, or came from the planets, or something.
Did you get to hang out with Kurt Cobain and talk about being a front man? I would imagine you being around other front men, so to speak, would be important to you.
I mean, I was usually pretty nervous whenever I was hanging around with him, just because I was in awe, and he wasn't the type who wanted to discuss being a front man. He was just kind of shy and in his energetic state. But Flea and I had some nice moments with him at some MTV show where we snuck away and went backstage and just sat with him while he was getting ready to play. And that was a nice experience.
What was unusual about it? That he was sitting and playing and kind of loose as a goose, and like
loose.
Feeling
He was loose. And warm and inviting and relaxed, and it wasn't like he had been on tour for a long time and was all emotionally chaotic. He was quite within himself and said, "Yeah, come and sit." And yeah, he was a beautiful dude, and he left us with a ton of unbelievable music and energy.
Where's Flea? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Flea. The one, the only, the man with the horn. He was born to play the horn.
Load on pumpkins,
I learned a lot from Kurt Cobain, not particularly from the time I played trumpet with them, but I think the same thing that everybody had the opportunity to learn, just that he was a very dedicated songwriter who was able to cut through all of the bullshit and focus on the essence of music. The craziest time I ever had with the band, we were all drinking tea, and we sat down and we had a really nice conversation. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Parallel Universe.
It's hard to remember exactly how that came about. I remember writing the chorus at home. I think that was probably like pretty like Nirvana inspired, you know. Like, you know, they have these songs like, it's called Even in His Youth. That's a song, so same key, like. They have another song that goes. I really liked those songs that had that sort of minor kind of dark feeling.
They don't sound at all the same to me, but it's interesting that they do that.
Yeah, I think in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna write something like Even in His Youth, and that was the.
That seems more like Ramones-y anthemic to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also listening to the Ramones a lot at that time. Also, you know, for me to say, I think I used to kind of try to hide the Nirvana influence because I felt like they were our contemporaries and I didn't want people to know how much I loved them. But like I mentioned to you before, like when I was down and out and there was like all those years where there was no future, their music along with a few other people like David Bowie and Black Sabbath, it just meant the world to me. It just meant everything to me. And partially in their case, because I felt like it was something I'd felt inside me since I was a kid, because I loved punk. Punk was the music that got me into playing guitar, but also loved all different kinds of pop music and stuff. So for somebody to combine punk with pop as well as they did, it just... And somebody to be that good of a screamer, because Darby Crash was my favorite singer when I was a kid. And then, so to have somebody who's screaming like as good as Darby Crash, yet he's singing like melodically in this way that Darby didn't really sing. Yeah, their music just meant a lot to me. So
I remember them opening for you. Was that on the Blood Sugar tour that they were opening for you?
Only for 3 shows.
Oh, I must have been on all 3 shows then, because for me it felt like, that they're on the tour.
Yeah, I was in California only. And I wasn't into them then. I resented the whole idea of a pop punk thing at the time. Like I was.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I didn't like them till after he'd already died. Like,
wow.
Yeah, he just died. I think when I started Tony Oswald started playing. I first heard him when I was in a rehab, and I mean when I first heard them and liked them, I was in a rehab, and that In Utero album had come out, and she played me the song Rape Me over the telephone, and I was stuck in a rehab for 30 days. And I kept calling her up going, play me that song again. Just play, like, however it sounded on the phone. I just had to hear it again. I loved it so much. Yeah, it was really that In Utero. It might've been before he died. No, I think it was still after he died, but I just hadn't heard that album In Utero. And and I still think that's their best album. And that was what got me real excited about them. Yeah, maybe the things about Nevermind that Kurt himself didn't like were the things that didn't appeal to me about it when it came out or something. Because once I heard them sound actually like raw and sound like just like guys playing in a room, that's when I realized. And I didn't even watch them when they opened for us. I was just in my own head. And so anyways, so I saw that chorus as like Nirvana thing. But like I said,
a lot of times the things we love, we don't hit us right at first.
Yeah.
That's not unusual at all.
Yeah, I know it was that way for you with the Ramones.
Yeah, it just made me laugh.
Yeah. But anyways, being into punk since I was a kid, it was like, once I got into them, I was surprised that I hadn't landed on these ideas like when I first joined the band, you know, this way of sort of
combining punk and pop, because like I just thought the band didn't want to be. I didn't even think the Red Hot Chili Peppers would want to do something like that. Anyways, you know, like I wouldn't have thought.
And they might not have wanted to right when you joined. Actually, if you think about it, because it wasn't until it took time for the mold to open of what the Chili Peppers could be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have suited really the way Anthony was singing then.
Yeah.
You know, like it took time for it to turn into anything we like.
Yeah.
You know, that took time.
Yeah. But anyways, it came real naturally. That song is definitely a combination of Fugazi and Nirvana in my mind. Like probably quite a bit of our songs I could sum up in ways like that. I could say it's a combination of this artist and that artist or whatever.
What's an SMT? Can you play a SMT of Nirvana? How's that Nirvana song go? Key is do, re, mi, and
when I think of Kurt Cobain, that's not really the first thing that jumps into my mind. You know, the first thing that I always think about with him is just, you know, the beauty of his spirit. You know, what a beautiful and soulful, loving spirit he had to, you know, to come to this place and make so much music. You know, as far as him being a drug addict, you know, that just happens. Sometimes people have a certain void inside of themselves that, you know, drugs fill into, and, you know, drugs are a pretty strong thing, and you can't always turn it on and off, and it affects your brain chemistry, and it's a pretty complicated mixture of loneliness and depression and drugs and beauty and pain and pleasure, and sometimes it gets all confused, and you end up dying.
Could you turn up the track a little bit, please?
Would not be true. Refuse the news. I'm feeling sick now. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Just lose and lose. a dress, a perfect mess. You never knew this, but I wanted badly for you to requite my love. Left on the floor, leaving your body. When eyes are below and love all the way, so hard to stay. Guess now you know I love you so.